Bună ziua, eu sunt Pavlo. Hello, today we'll be talking about headphones that actually everyone reviewed like few years ago. But I didn't have an opportunity to try, test and actually own Meze Elite, and a bit more than a month ago I became an owner of a new pair, and you know, it's kind of reviewer's reflex. I just can't skip reviewing them and simply enjoy. Your pleasure is not 100% full unless you create a review video. Or maybe someone can also enjoy my subjective opinion about them. And for a long time, actually, Meze's Empyrean were my my main pair of headphones. Actually, if you take a look at this channel header, you can understand what I'm talking about. And Meze is a great example of company that was created from basically from scratch, and they made their way from small company with just few limited models to one of the most famous world brands in the headphones audio. And of course, looking at their current model lineup, it's pretty obvious. I remember their first in-ear models, I remember appearance of 99 Classics and how they took the world by storm, became a huge bestseller, and how Meze successfully leveraged that moment to deliver their full vision that includes super sophisticated design. We'll talk about that when we come to the design of that thing, and also advanced technologies. As everyone knows, they partnered with Renaro Isodynamics from Lviv in Ukraine, where I live now, and in this cooperation they've created that hybrid isodynamic array driver, also one of the most complicated, or probably the most complicated isodynamic driver. And on top of that, they built really great design that from one hand sophisticated and exquisite, from another hand super comfortable. So that's how appeared previous model Empyrean. But they decided not to stop on one place. They created great 109 Classics. They created Advar, and actually I'm a bit mixing the timeline. Elite was released before the Advar and 109. It's just I got them later, but release order was different. And actually they built on top of the Empyrean, creating totally new model, reaching a newer level. And what is really interesting here, they've actually built a modular system where you can swap parts and achieve interesting results. Of course, most likely you won't be able to do that because they don't sell spare parts except of ear pads, but in general it's doable, and more about that also a bit later. So the price of this top of the line headphones is $400. They are on the market for about 2 years or maybe even more, but that's the case where you can safely buy them. It's unlikely there will be some huge sale. Meze are like what I also like. They are not trying to release a new model like every year or even more frequently. They hold their lineup really consistent, and you still can buy Empyrean, and it still has this cost of $3,000. So this one is $1,000 more expensive. And they, as far as I remember, they didn't do any big sales or like leftover sale or something like that, so it's a good investment. And it's really unlikely that they will release something better sounding in this price range, because they value the customers who invested in their headphones. I'm kind of sure that they are working on some better sounding model, but as you can easily guess, it will be even more expensive, but I am also pretty sure that it will be worth that. So now you're getting, when you're buying from Meze own store, I will add link in the description, of course. You can select one of the premium cables to get bundled, and I've got silver plated premium cable, so Furukawa and Pentagon, so really good modern wire. But let's put it aside. And the headphones came in regular recycled cardboard transport box, but inside you'll get this nice and reliable suitcase. Empyrean also were sold in suitcase, but their suitcase was a bit more bulky, so this one is slightly more compact. And really nice locks, kind of enjoyable. And inside you'll get earphones themselves, two pair of pads. One is pure Alcantara angled pads, second one is hybrid ones, so they offers a bit different sound. And you're getting a booklet with description of the design they used here. You can get the same information from their website, but like if you want to reread it, booklet is also available. And each pair comes with unique serial number warranty card. So as you can see, like basic set of accessories that is necessary for the headphones. So design didn't change much from Empyrean to Elite. Here they are on one table, and as you can see, all main parts remained the same, just materials and colors changed a little bit. But it's the case when like you don't need to fix what is not broken, because even Empyrean were like top notch in terms of comfort and in terms of sophisticated design. They spend a lot of efforts to make their headphones more lightweight. As you can see, carbon headband, really durable, with good clamping force, but at the same time with less weight than metal ones. And as you can see, it's not like regular arc shape, it's more remind the letter omega. And actually what is interesting about this design, it's almost lacking straight lines or something simpler, like rectangles, circles or something like that. Everything is curved, and that makes them even more complex in build. Then comes the patented solution with that improved weight distribution headband. You can see this wing-like part here makes headband lying more flat on your head, and that allows even better weight distribution. And indeed it works. If you test some of the headphones once with that system, you understand what I'm talking about. They are not heavy at all, but at the same time, thanks to this idea, they distribute weight absolutely perfect, and they are comfortable for the long listening sessions, and that's one of their best sides. Then you can see that design of yokes, and you can also I won't even speak about something here. I think video just speaks itself. They are slidable, so you can extend this rod to get the proper size. But basically same as with other Meze models, you just put them on your head and easily slide them down until you get like proper positioning on your head. They can be rotated freely in this dimension, and that actually provide you all the flexibility you need, because they just positions on your head and provides you best possible fit. And all parts are like absolutely sophisticated. They decided to use not circular and not oval shape, they used ovoid, or simply speaking, egg-like shape, with bigger part on top and smaller at bottom. It's also irregular and not that easy to produce. You can also, let me find the proper angle, check out the design of the grills. You can see it's not like circles, triangles, rectangles. It's much more sophisticated, and as far as I remember, these grills are machined from single sheet of metal, and it takes pretty lot of time. And that's just about their attention to the design. So, and if we remove ear pod, actually ear pods are easily removable because they are held by magnets, and it's another their know-how. So here it is, you can see how compact this driver is. So here used some composite material frame to make it more lightweight, because for the good planar driver you'll need strong magnets, and magnets are located on this circular parts. They are super strong, and actually they have they need a lot of durability from this frame to hold to be held in place, because magnet force is pretty strong here. And you can see the design of the inner diaphragm. Of course, on their website they describe it much better, but we've got one type of spiral on top and circular part on the bottom, and top part is responsible for the bass, because low frequencies doesn't need to be guided precisely into our ears, and that's why you can put subwoofer somewhere at the floor at the side. But at the same time, mids and trebles should go directly to your ear, and that's why they are located here. And if you as you can understand, here like goes our ear, and this part just directs the sound to our ears. Actually, if you unscrew these screws, actually not recommend to do that. You'll be able to replace driver and swap it with, for example, Empyrean one, but really don't recommend doing that. And you can use Empyrean ear pods here freely, but actually it makes more sense to do opposite. Use Elite ear pods on the Empyreans. As you can see, new ear pods are more shallow, and that allows them to improve the sound. And also this one used leather on the inner part, perforated, but here we getting the hybrid design. And also this grid on the earpods also plays special role. It reflects magnetic field back to the driver, allowing it to do additional work. So this magnet field from driver holds cap in place, and this grid on the cap on the earpod improves this magnet field distribution. Like you can imagine this level of engineering to came up with this idea. Cable is made replaceable, classical 4-pin mini XLR connectors, and here is that cable that can be now considered as a stock one. Really, you know, zero complaints. Good high quality wires, high quality furniture, splitter, jack, everything in place. It's flexible enough to be comfortable. zero microphonic effect, so just like really good cable for these headphones, or actually Meze sold them as a separate accessory. You can use it with other headphones, and even they are making such bracelets of their cables, so really good accessory that you can also enjoy if you are a fan of Meze like I am. So needless to say, like, this is one of the pinnacles in terms of technologies in the headphones world. And of course, about the sound, I've actively used them for about a month before critical listening and review preparations. I was just enjoying them. So definitely they are already burned in, but unfortunately I don't know were there some changes during initial listening, because I was overenjoyed at that time to do some critical listening and analyze are there any changes or not. But anyway, in terms of sound, Meze decided to make a step from Empyrean towards a bit more audiophilic representations. These flagship headphones are more technical, more spacious, with more detalization, with better definition, more developed treble, and at the same time slightly less weighty and closer to natural side. But of course they are not monitoring natural, it's still a pretty enjoyable and musical headphones, but shifted a bit towards technical side of things, of course. But it's probably something to expect from the high-end headphones. So bass is good, it's slightly elevated, but not too much. Definitely it's not the model that will add any weight to the low frequencies. But at the same time you'll get exquisite resolution, like top notch, with great level of texturing, small nuances, details, saturation and stuff. And also it's really balanced with both mid bass and deeper layers of bass, having necessary level to sound lively and realistic, and not overdo some kind of extra rumble. It's not the headphones created for this. So, but you know, probably when you go to that above $1,000 level, you need to expect like more technical solutions, not just something more fun. But of course there are some exceptions. So good weight when it's necessary, when it's present in record, but no extra weight to make sound more effective. But with good source, good amplifier, more on that later. Actually they don't require super powerful amplification, but let's talk about that a bit later. You'll get rich, nuanced instruments with proper size of body, not like moved forward to you or vice versa, with great sense of naturalness, realism and details. I could select here something like obvious, like Musica Nuda, Casey Abrams, all that audiophilic double bass records are pretty easy tracks to represent great bass and enjoy it, because it's really rich and saturated. But I decided to select a bit other tracks, so I bit underestimated remaining charge in my M17, so I spent more time listening to these headphones before starting the review. So as you can see, it's on charge now. And the first example, it's Point Blank by Gunnar Hoff group, and it's like good instrumental jazz with nice drums. At the same time it's not like super highlighted, and bit more relaxed tuning of the drum set, delivering pleasant, a bit warmish punches. And these headphones are really great here because they are not trying to make sound even warmer, and actually that additional warmness spoils bass and drum perception in this track, but they deliver it as it should be, and that allows the track to sound balanced and how it was intended to sound by creators. And the second example, it's Goldrush by Yello. Not like something audiophilic, but super enjoyable track with that famous a cappella part, and also with a bunch of different bass. Not super deep, but really varied types of low frequencies, and these headphones deliver them all really nicely with great sense of presence and realism. Mid frequencies are actually, how to say it, a bit relaxed, but not in terms of, in terms of technical details, because the detalization here is great and it's balancing well between detalization and sounding too analytical, so no. And they're relaxed not in terms of presence, because presence is also really good. I think no one will say that it's lacking some mids here. They are not trying to be forward, there is no attempts to make aggressive upper mids bump to make sound more spicy and more engaging. So it's just natural, balanced and not obtrusive, but at the same time really detailed, with perfect instrument representation, with great vocal when it's necessary. Of course, here you'll get perfect dynamics and also really great emotion level. But to achieve this all, of course, you'll need some really good material, because headphones doesn't try to change something in the track as they've got by wire. Imaginary stage is huge, it's spacious, it's not overblown, so instruments have proper size, they're distributed properly in width, and they have really good depth layering. It's a step forward comparing to the previous model. So let's see some examples. First one is pretty simple track, but it's a nice engaging tune. Everyone heard, a lot of people like. Soviet television used it as intro for some of TV shows. I don't remember which one. It was pretty hilarious, like all Western music is banned, but we taking Western music as intros to the TV shows. It's Alan Parsons' project, Mammagamma, like great instrumental piece with that catchy tune that you will remember forever once you've heard it. It's not overcomplicated in terms of instruments and stuff, but still it requires, of course, good technical performance to sound at full potential, because it's really well recorded. It's Alan Parsons works at the end, so that's why headphones show their full potential here. And I actually decided to choose one track that definitely not fitting into this audiophilic story. It's Raining Blood by Slayer, but I just wanted to test how they sound with something like not perfect in terms of record and not perfect in terms of realism. So heavy metal is great, Slayer are great, their impact on heavy music undoubtful, but in general heavy music and especially thrash metal is built upon distortion. They are raw, they are aggressive, they have a lot of emotions, and actually these headphones sounds really good with that all. I like it, but it's my preference, I like natural signature for heavy metal. I'd like to hear it without extra coloration, so for me it's like a really great match. And also that intro part with that thunderstorm drums and intro riff also sounds great. Thanks to spaciousness, you'll get great sense of realism during that thunder roar. And the treble, I don't know, need I say something or not, it's like close to perfection, well balanced, great extension, superb layering, superb overtone saturation, proper attacks and decays, not being too sharp, but at the same time not lacking treble, so on the sibilant tracks you'll get that sibilant that is present. It won't be boosted or highlighted, but at the same time it won't be hidden. So I can't like evaluate is it okay for those who don't like treble or not, because like they play treble as is, and in my opinion it should suit to every listener, but of course people are different, so definitely not something warm, but neither it is something piercing, and great technical performance, giving you air, giving you sense of the hole where it was recorded, so all parts are here. And also we could take, sorry, I literally hit the light. It would be easy to take something audiophilic, but so first example, it's Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, and I thought like it's one of my most favorite tracks ever, and I never used it as an example, or almost never, and that's time to fix it, because from one hand it's not super overcomplicated like some big orchestra, for example, but Pink Floyd put a lot of things here, and the overall sound of Gilmour's guitars just out of this world, with a lot of overtones. They used some unusual reverberation here. I've read in some book that they just played first guitar solo on the stadium and record the echoes of stadium. I'm not sure is it true or not, but could be definitely. That's something to expect from the Pink Floyd. And all of that requires good treble performance to sound at full level, and actually like this humble $5,700 setup does it really well. And last example, it's Louis Armstrong and Oscar Peterson playing, jamming together, and main instrument here of course is Peterson's piano, and it's like tuned and recorded to be pretty high pitched and with typical for that time a bit piercing sound, and it moves a lot of sounds to the upper mids and treble area, and with many headphones actually it will sound like too fatiguing, but not with Elite. They just playing that perfectly, allowing you to enjoy Peterson's piano and Armstrong voice and trumpet, like building a great contrast here. Speaking about sources, they don't require something super powerful. It's same with Elite, with Empyrean. Actually, like a lot of people believe it's planar, so more power will be better, but it's 101 decibel of sensitivity and 32 ohms of impedance, so nothing crazy in terms of power, just good control. And also they are of course responsive to the amplifier you'll give them. I like them with Fio's K9 Pro, because K9 Pro has a bit boosted dynamics, which adds a bit more energy to the sound, and that what I like. But if you want something warmer, you can select some model with tubes, for example, that will give you charming overtones with a lot of that analog-like sounding, or you can select some solid-state solution focused on the micro detailization, and you'll get like more technical performance. Or you can get some of modern players, like it can be not actually M17. A lot of modern players can drive them properly and give you maybe not desktop-like, but really enjoyable listening hours. And speaking about the comparisons, actually the only model I can compare it's of course Empyrean, and Empyrean is a bit more weighty and compared to this model a bit more bit less resolving and bit less technical. Per se, they are of course technical with great resolution, nice treble, but here headphones have a bit less weight, and it unveils the full technical potential, like more textures on the low frequencies, more speed and better transitions on the mids, more airness and even more layering in the treble area. So actually I like both models, and I like Meze Empyrean with these earpods. So really worth the experiment. These earpods gives them a slight boost, because stock earpods of Empyrean are shallower and your ears are a bit closer to the driver, which gives a bit of additional detalization. But of course this Elite is better with these earpads than Empyrean. But actually I understand that a lot of people just enjoy the Empyrean, and actually, you know, there is no sense in blindly buying Elite, unless of course you understand that you want more details, more spacious stage and so on. Because if you really like the signature of Empyrean, you can stay with them easily. It's still really high-end model that won't be obsolete, like it's all-time classics, and same will be with Elite. And I forgot to mention that there are two types of earpods, and with Alcantara one you get a bit less weight on the base and more detalization on the mid, so they will be shifted to, further towards more monitoring sound. To summarize everything, it's one of the most perfect headphones ever created. They are beautiful and technical, but at the same time durable and perfectly executed. On top level, they are lightweight and comfortable. They doesn't require tons of power to be driven. They deliver great balance of really technical but at the same time engaging and enjoyable sound. Of course, price is really high, but it's what you have to pay for getting one of the best possible headphone sounds ever created. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.